My favorite form of media was the classic movie by the name of Love and Basketball. This movie stars both Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps as Monica and Quincy. The storyline began at the childhood age of 11 years old. Both Monica and Quincy moved into the same neighborhood door to door from each other. The two met on Quincy's basketball court where Monica challenges her new crush to a basketball game. Quincy was just on the brink of losing the game when he immediately pushed her into the concrete to prevent her from winning. Quincy injuring Monica due to him almost losing the game starts a love-hate relationship for the two of them. From then on, the storyline tells of how the two go on to love basketball as much as they love breathing. Monica and Quincy end up pursuing their NBA basketball dreams in college together at the same university. Everything seems to be going good for the two lovers until commitment to the sport will force them to make a choice between each other and the game, between family and the team. This dilemma forced the two to part ways for about 3 to 4 years. Life goes on for the both of the game players. Quincy gets injured and settles down with his new fiancée, and years later, fate brings the couple together into each other's lives again. True love ends up showing up in a heart-wrenching game when Monica challenges Quincy to a final game for a gamble at his heart. All is fair in love and basketball. I thought this was the perfectly imperfect fairy tale of what happens if you're in a relationship with someone that you love. This story is the perfect example of the cultivation theory. The cultivation theory was thought of by Gerber G. in the 1960s. Mr. Gardner's ideology in media research relayed the idea that heavy television viewing leads individuals to perceive reality in ways that are consistent with portrayals on what they see on television. If I had any experience in love, or if I had any common sense when I was younger, it would have told me that there were some holes in the story. Love portrayal in this movie was not perfect, but it was still not consistent with the truth. At the age of 8 years old, I was more prone to believe that real world also functioned by the rules of the program. It did not once cross my mind that love does not always turn out so perfect. My least favorite form of media is the news that airs on local television. This is opposite from my favorite form of media because it does not tell the fairy tale love story everyone likes to hear. The news constantly reports stories that range from mild to extreme negative and bizarre crime stories. 19% of topics had to do with the latest murders, rapes, bankruptcies, and scandals. It seems like an hour-long festival of corruption and violence. The news always has its ways of trying to pull you into watching the full hour so they can emphasize a story that will be talked about in the last 10 minutes of the show. I am unaware of what is going on in my community. I never know updates on the weather, perspective on worldly views, and I don't know how to distinguish fiction from truth. Perhaps if there was variety in content of the topics, there would be more sparks in the viewer's interest. I'm positively affected by this form of media because by watching the news, I can get a worldly perspective on events that bring up different cultures, religions, and politics. I'm negatively affected because some of the stories that are aired on television are negative. It leads me to believe that things are just around the corner and likely to happen to me. The cultivation theory takes an effect in watching the local news because when I watch it, I'm susceptible to believing that more harm is likely to come to me. The news leaves me with the perception that the world is in a dangerous place. For example, when making a choice of taking the shortcut with no lights or people around, or the longer route with cars, people, and lights around, I would choose the longer route. I would definitely take the longer route home, which is filled with lights and people to see me if I were in danger. My choice was just made based on influence according to what the news had told me.